Central Minnesota Sports Hub. It's the Morning Sports Desk, presented by Wadena's Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade. Available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts, and streaming on YouTube.
It's another episode of the Morning Sports Desk, powered by Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena. I'm CJ Baumgartner, no Corey Tackman again here today. Man, oh man, the section baseball playoffs continue to ramp up, and we have two area teams that are so close to reaching the state tournament. We're going to talk about that, also talk a little state track and field preview as well, mention a little state softball, all that coming up in today's show. But before we get into all that, I want to talk about the proud, I hope, sponsors of this program. It's the Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena. I mean, just look at this. This is why you should watch the show on YouTube, because you can see all this great stuff that's at the Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena. Like, every Monday is a half-price play Monday, which means it's double the fun. You can cruise into summer. It's summertime. You need to find a spot for the kids to blow off some steam, to hang out a little bit. The Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade has you covered. Cruise into summer with the half-price play Mondays at the FunZone Arcade. You can play along with all your favorite games for half price all day long and double up on the fun and your chances to win the awesome prizes. There's, candy. There's little kind of things here and there for the small kind of point totals. But really, if you can save up, if you're frugal, if you're consistently going to the Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade, you can win some pretty big prizes, including coolers, including game systems, including mystery autographed jerseys from NBA, NHL, NFL, MLB legends. Remember, we gave away a Wade Boggs autographed jersey on this program from a mystery box opening. We got that because of the Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena. There's plenty of things happening, so you don't want to miss a Monday. Mark your calendar, bring your friends, bring your family, bring your group, bring a party. They're great for birthday parties, and they'll see you at the Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena. Not only that, you also get the pizza, the breadsticks, you get the you just get so much. You get the wings, you get the chicken, you get the mashed potatoes, you get the salad bar, you get the dessert pizzas, you get the ice cream, the cookies. There's a lot. There is so much happening at the Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena, so go check them out. All right, we have a lot to talk about in terms of our local sports here. And one thing I do want to mention, congratulations to the Parker's Prairie Panthers. They are one win away from reaching the state baseball tournament. They got a victory yesterday against Upsala, Swanville Area, 9-1. It was a really tense ball game for a lot of it. It was a really fast-moving game for most of it. I know the final score looks that way, but if you start off in the first inning, Nolan Steidel on the mound for Parker's Prairie. They're the home team in this game. They won the coin toss. They got the home game. They're at Chiswick Field in Morris. So they were the home team. They go to the field in the top of the first inning. Nolan Steidel on the mound. And Upsala Swanville Area, they were able to scrape across the run. And in fact, they had the bases loaded, and it was a fielder's choice for Caden Beesman that got the RBI for Upsala Swanville Area. Hunter Moore scored from first base, and Steidel was able to get a backwards K to get out of the jam. And, if you're Upsala Swanville Area, you're like, cool, we got a run. We got up early. There we go. And if you're the Panthers, you say, hey, they had bases loaded, one out. We were able to get out of this situation. Believe it was bases loaded. Either that or it was runners on the corners. Either way, a tough spot to navigate through. The Panthers got through it without giving up a crooked number, just allowed the one run. And then they got up in the bottom half of the first inning, and they responded right away. Mason Basil came in. He got a base hit. He came around to score. Trevor Rounds reached base on an RBI single. He also came around to score. Shane Hansen reached on a fielder's choice and was able to score the inning's third run as well. So the Panthers gave up a run in the top of the first inning, come right back around, get 3 runs in the bottom half of that first inning, and then Steidel went on cruise control. He didn't allow a run the rest of the way through, only allowed a couple hits the rest of the way through, and overall just had a really good performance from the Parker's Prairie Panther ace on the mound. He came into this playoffs with a 1.67 earned run average throughout the season. And through the playoffs, he's pitched in 2 games, and he's allowed 1 run throughout that. And I believe that 1 run that was allowed was earned, but still 1 earned run through 2 games. That ERA is going down, in fact, from the 1.67. So a really good performance from Nolan Steidel on the mound as I count up kind of the strikeouts he had in that game for Parker's Prairie. And overall, he ended up coming away with about 6-7 strikeouts over the course of 7 innings, going the distance in a complete game. And it just sets Parker's Prairie up for a really good spot pitching-wise. We'll talk about that in a second. But it was the bottom half of the 6th inning is where things really kind of went all Panthers because it was a 3-1 lead at that point for Parker's Prairie. The game went on cruise control. Both Nolan Steidel and Gopinski on the mound for USA, they were going quick. Like, it was like 5 minutes in between innings. Both of them were attacking the strike zone. Hitters were aggressive early in counts, and you just had a very fast-paced, a very fun baseball game between these two teams. And then it got to the bottom of the 6th inning where the Panthers hung a 6 spot up to take a 9-1 advantage, and then they took care of business. They had good hits. They had really good base running. I think the thing that stands out for Parker's Prairie in this game, one is they played cleaner defense. They had an error or 2 throughout the game. I believe just 1. Upsala Swanville Area committed 5 errors, and the Panthers took advantage of that. And not only did they take advantage of that, but they already had a good base running game. And it's kind of a chicken or the egg situation. Did the good base running trigger the errors, or did the errors trigger kind of aggressive base running by the Panthers? Either way, Parker's Prairie ran the bases really well, took extra bases when they could, pushed the Upsala Swanville Area defense to have to make good plays on them. And a couple times they did, but a couple times they didn't. And Parker's Prairie was able to cash in on those opportunities. And something I thought they did really well, they bunted really well. On top of that, you had a few bunt attempts laid down in that bottom half of the 6th inning. Ben Wagner tried to lay a bunt down, and the ball was thrown into foul territory along the first base side. That allowed some runs to score as well. And then they bunted with Gavin Basil. He laid down a bunt. Perfect sacrifice. They made the out. You did everything you needed to do. And then with the runner on third base and Wagner, Coach Denny calls, and again, maybe it was a safety squeeze, maybe it wasn't, but I believe it was a suicide squeeze because based on where Basil was, he was breaking for home on the windup. And again, the pitcher in the windup, Gopinski, with a runner on third. You think I can be in the windup, it's fine. Nope. Basil able to get a couple extra Wagner able to get a couple extra steps going down that third base line. Mason Basil lays down a perfect bunt, and scoring without a play was Wagner from third base on a suicide squeeze attempt from Coach Denny and the Parker's Prairie Panthers. And look, as a Bertha Hewitt Verndale alum in baseball, they loved the suicide squeezes, the coaching philosophy of Coach Steve Reaver. And, of course, Denny, a Bertha Hewitt guy, he was coached by Steve Reaver and Al Hansen at Bertha Hewitt. And they love to lay down that suicide squeeze play, really being effective. And if you have players that can pull it off, it is such a useful situation. Now, again, at the time, it's 9-1, and you think, what did they need to do that for? But at the time, it was still like 5-1, 4-1. You still needed to lay down some of these extra insurance runs, and it took it from a game going into the top of the 7th inning that could have been close. You know, Upsala Swanville Area, very good team. They were within striking distance if it's a 2-run game. When it's an 8-run game going into the top of the 7th, you're in cruise control. Steidel took care of business. And now if you're Parker's Prairie, Upsala Swanville Area went to the elimination bracket. They lost to Belgrade Bruton El Rosa. So that means Parker's Prairie is going to be taking on BBE for the 3rd straight year in the 3rd different location, though, for the Section 6A championship game. If you want to go back to 2023, that was played at Minnewaska area. BBE was in the winner's bracket. They go on to win the section that season. If you go back to last year, that game was played in Clarissa at the Browerville Eagle Valley Field in Clarissa. And that game was a home run derby for the ages. Zeke Foreman on the call for that one. He has the score sheet for that one still hanging up in his studio just on the other side of this wall. But then you also look at this year now, which will be played in Morris at Chiswick Field. And that was the site of when Parker's Prairie and kind of this excellent run of baseball they had made their first state tournament appearance back in 2016 on that field in Morris. They're looking to make another one here this season, and they're going to be doing that tomorrow afternoon. We will have coverage of that game on the Superstation K106, 2:15 pregame, 2:30 first pitch. We're going to get a full breakdown of that game tomorrow, so stay with us on the Morning Sports Desk. We'll have an episode come out tomorrow detailing a little bit of that and kind of what needs to happen for Parker's Prairie to get back to the state tournament. Congratulations to Coach Denny and company on the victory. Congratulations also to Coach Lake and the Sebeka Trojans as they've been working their way through the elimination bracket. From this section semifinal game on, they got to win over Bertha Hewitt-Verndale. They got to win over Mille Lacs. Now they got to win over Ogilvie, and they advance to the section 5A championship game. Sebeka trying to get back to the state tournament for the first time in a few seasons. I believe 2021 was the last time that the Trojans had made the state baseball tournament. They're looking to try and cash in section 5A as well. They are going to take on a familiar foe in Frazee. These two teams played each other just last week, and Sebeka had a lead going into the top of the 7th inning, couldn't quite hang on. Frazee had a rally at the end. Sebeka got the tying run on base in their half of the 7th. Frazee hung on to win, and overall, you got another fun matchup between Coach Lake and the Trojans and Coach McCallson and the Hornets of Frazee. It's going to be a really fun game. That one is going to be played in Piers at Helly Field. Due to some broadcasting kind of snafus with the Twins and whatnot, we unfortunately are not going to be able to get coverage of that game, but best of luck to them. And if you get to the state tournament, trust me, we will find a way to get you on the airwaves. But it's just, Twins, everybody else doing really well. A lot of finagling going on here at our Hubbard Radio-Wadena stations because also, by the way, that first game between the Trojans and the Hornets is at 4:30 at Helly Field on Thursday. If they win, does Sebeka, they go to a winner-take-all game because the Trojans had to go through the elimination bracket. That game would be played at 7 o'clock. For the Panthers, they just got to win one more they just have to win one game in those two opportunities against Belgrade, Bruton, El Rosa to advance back to the state tournament for the second straight year. Also, again, it's just been so tough trying to keep everybody under control and covered. We mentioned yesterday's show. Congratulations to New York Mills, Bertha Hewitt-Verndale on their great seasons. Now congratulations to Staples Motley. Their season comes in the books. They couldn't quite get that victory over Albany, so the Cardinals have their season end in 2025. Congratulations to Coach Tappy and the Cardinals on a really nice season for Staples Motley, trying to work their way through a very, very meat grinder of a section in Section 6AA over in St. Cloud. Albany's going to be playing Royalton, and then the winner of that game is going to be playing St. Cloud Cathedral for a chance to get back to the Section 6AA championship game where Piers is sitting there kind of waiting for their opportunity. The Piers Pioneers 1 win away from getting to the state tournament. All right, well, that is all, I think, of our state baseball or section baseball coverage here. Let's talk a little state softball between the Brainerd Warriors, the Bloomington Jefferson Jaguars, I believe. Doesn't really matter. They had their games happening kind of earlier in the afternoon or morning, I should say. And right now, no score updates as of kind of checking here the page. Brainerd lost 2-1. In the 4-5 matchup. The 4-seeded Bloomington Jefferson beat the 5-seeded Warriors of Brainerd 2-1. So now Brainerd goes into the elimination bracket. They're going to play Edina at 4 o'clock this afternoon. And Forest Lake will play Bloomington Jefferson in the semifinal game. Also in the other consolation semifinal, Egan and Farmington. So if Brainerd can beat Edina, they will play either Egan or Farmington tomorrow in the consolation championship. Best of luck to the Brainerd Warriors there throughout the state tournament. All right, looking through now in our section recap of baseball or state recap of softball, let's talk a little state track and field because 8 section records have fallen in the 6A track and field meet as some area athletes advance to state. Zeke Foreman, our guy, is a big write-up at WadenaRadio.com, Superstation K106 mobile app, or by following Sports Cow on Facebook. Go check it out. It's loaded with great stuff that you can go see because no record was safe at the Section 6A track and field meet at Pelican Rapids last week. 8 section records were kaput. In a very competitive meet. 6 Staples Motley Cardinals, 6 Pillager Huskies, 2 Wadena Deer Creek Wolverines, 2 Parker's Prairie Panthers, 1 Bertha Hewitt-Verndale Raider, all advancing to the track and field meet there in in Pelican Rapids. Staples Motley's Audrey Brunel was responsible for 2 of the records going down. Brunel broke the 1600 meter record with a time of 5 minutes, 3 seconds, 0.99 milliseconds, breaking Morris's Nicole Scher's record of 5:05.6 and Pelican Rapids Mindy Stadler's 3,200 meter record of 11:15.13. That was set back in 1984 with a time of 11:12.97. Wow. 2 Cardinals holding section meet records saw their names move down the results list as Josh Smith set the 400 meter record with a 49.7 in 2004. That was eclipsed with Osagis's Zachary Bruder's 48.80. Artem Beachy's pole vault broke the record of 14:06 set in 1989. That was bested by his son Turner with 14:07. There's just a whole lot of great stuff, talking about some WDC records that had fallen, some Pillager records that had been established too. There's a whole lot of great stuff here. I don't want to spoil the entire thing because Zeke did a great job kind of writing things up at WadenaRadio.com, Superstation, K106 mobile app. That's just a little tease. Go and check out that article. There's a lot of stuff there at WadenaRadio.com, Superstation, K106 mobile app, or by following Sports Cow on Facebook for all the updates. Moo. All right, that's going to do it for me. I'm CJ Baumgartner. That's another quick edition of the Morning Sports Desk powered by Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena. We'll have another episode tomorrow previewing the section championship matchups in baseball, talking a little more state softball as well for Brainerd, and just getting you ready with all the great sports stuff we have going on in the heat of section and state playoffs. I'm CJ Baumgartner. I'll see you tomorrow.
Powered by Wadena's Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade. Follow the Morning Sports Desk on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts, and watch every show on YouTube.